Hello, hello. There we go. Hello, everyone. It is I, Tasso, and today we're here on part 5 of Citizen Sleeper. So, first off, I must apologize. I did not realize my mic was not functioning on OBS last stream. I didn't realize that. I was like watching back the VOD, and then I was like, oh shit, my voice was not there the whole time. Oh well. Well, what's done is done. But yeah. Anyway, so I've made sure that my mic is actually working this time. So yeah. But anyway, so last week we basically started on the DLC stuff, the flux stuff, and then now we're on like part 2 of the DLC. So I would presume probably probably we'll probably get to part 3 in this stream, and then we'll finish off next week, and then that will probably be it for this game. But yeah, so anyway, let us hitch right into it without wasting too much time. Oh yeah, but we also became, self-sustaining through the mushrooms, so that's nice. Really. Yeah. What do we need to do again? Yes, now we need to study the flux. Flotilla support. Yeah, flotilla support and the other stuff. It's almost done as well. Oh, pick is done. Well, we have this, and we can supply spores as well. Well, let's start with pick first. Have you heard of Khan Channel Sleeper? Pick us as soon as you enter the bay, as if you were in the middle of a conversation. There are heavy circles under their eyes, and you're unsure if they've moved since you last visited. The console they are working at seems to have grown too, showing shadowing their slight frame in a wealth of screens and wires. Khan sounds familiar. I'm sure they do. Pig turns to face you. Kiomani's active negation, the name of the effect used to transport trillions of tons of materials from the surrogate system to the core. You might have heard of it in your physics classes. At XPR, they hammered the principles into us as kids. Khan. Pig Pick recites the definition of it in the recites the definition as if in the classroom. A process of collapsing spatial causality along the Eleusinian distance between two points by negating mass simultaneously at both ends of a geodesic curve. Essentially, Kant channels allow for the near instantaneous transport of raw materials between systems. They require huge volumes of energy, of course, and decades of construction. But once a Kant channel is established, it opens up a system for infinite exploitation. The backbone of the surrogacy is what XPR called them. Pig shakes their head. They might not be able to send anything more complex than a rock through them. Complex machines and people are, shall we say, reconfigured by the process. But for raw, molecularly pure materials, Pig flicks a hand. Whoosh. Where is this going? Pig pauses. What I was trying to find out was whether the Helion system, this system, ever had a Kant channel. Kant channels are vastly expensive to build, to run. Not every surrogate system has one. Many use fraction drive ships to transport their materials to the nearest hub, but Solheim, Pig smiles. Solheim spared no expense when it established this system. Is the Kant channel? Yep. Pig's eyes light up. They shut it down before the collapse. They couldn't run the sender receiver station anymore, but it was there. It still is, as far as I can tell, closely orbiting our star. In fact, Pig grins, they've been building to this. I'm sure it's still there because of one of the issues with Kant channels are the massive waves of exotic energy they can produce when cycling up. The flux. Exactly. Pig's face suddenly drops. Someone is starting up the channel. Who? Pig sucks in a breath. That, I don't know. They start counting up information off their fingers. They need a lot of resources to do it. And they need to have people from the core systems. But there's no real large-scale extraction in the Helios system anymore. So why would you go to the trouble? Oh shit, I didn't mean to roll. Ah! God damn it. Maybe it's Solheim? Pig shakes their head. The company went under decades ago, Sleeper. We might not get much core news out here, but it seems likely. They pause. But I've also been thinking. Pig rubs their red eyes. The flux, the wave the Kant effect produces, is a side effect. A problematic one, but it isn't a destructive force. If it was, the core systems would never have been able to use it. God. So then, why are the colonies collapsing because of it? Why is it chewing through systems, the kind of industrial system set up to function within the range of a once active Kant channel? Pig is getting frustrated. The moons of Amber have been terraforming since before the collapse, yet they would have had to deal with the flux. Yet everything we have heard from the refugees says they brought down every system they had. Actually, let me... Yes. Let me restart because I didn't mean to re-roll earlier. There we go. Oops. The Kant channel? Flux. Who? Maybe it's Solheim? Okay. The moons of Amber, every system they had. Pig falls quiet, thinking it all through. Your mind drifts to thinking of the Kant channels, those vast causal highways that prop up the core systems and their endless appetite for resources. This system has been quiet for decades. Solheim collapsed. Most corporations give up their claims, and apart from the Celis ships that came to begin work on the Sidereal Horizon, no one from the core has come here in all that time. You shiver as you imagine the attention of the core, the system of logic and exploitation that created your suffering, turning towards the Helion system. A floodlight turned to this dark corner. A shrill bleep catches both of your attention, and Pig rushes to the screen. One showing a crude map of the station. On it, individual markers begin to flare up with insistent chirps. Pig looks puzzled for a moment, and then their face drops. No. They're leaning close. This doesn't make any sense. Bad news. The flux nodes are appearing elsewhere on the station. Pig pulls at their hair. I set this system to alert me to other flux nodes near the epicenter of the flux event. But these are everywhere. The hub, the low end, the shipyard. How can this happen? The only reason we saw flux nodes is because it is the most run-down part of the station. But they were barely shielded. But others appearing? So far after the event? Pick turns to you. You are going to need to get me data from these notes, and quickly. I'll keep looking at what I have here, but I need to know why they are popping up everywhere. Right now? Right now. We can talk more about CAN channels and system history when you are back, but this needs our attention right now. Pick turns quickly back to the monitor, their eyes following scrolling screens of code spewing from the newly fluxed notes. You leave quickly, but struggle to shake the image of the spotlight from your mind. You feel watched as you cross your way back into Pilgrim's Seat on your way to a shuttle bay. You hurry on, eager to outrun the fear. Go. Growing. And anything here? There's the green way. Just one note. Yeah, let's feed this tray. And yeah, I think we'll rest. Ooh, that's good. I think I'll get food. Go. upstairs? Flux, no. Oh, I need a... Oh wait, I can use a 6. Go. Okay. I think I'll take a stabilizer. There's a good roll. Good reroll, rather. Rest. Yeah. Really? Oh god. Reroll. As you cross the axis looking for a shuttle to take you back to the ruined cordon, you spot Peter standing at the edge of the central harp. Something about the way he is leaning against the wall, looking against the rail, looking down across the axis and towards the blinking lights of the flotilla beyond, makes you pause. He's completely still, his head drooping low and his shoulders hunched high. Leave him be. You watch for a moment more and then move off across the harp towards a promising looking shuttle dock. Peter didn't look like he wanted to be disturbed, but as you climb through the docking tunnel towards the departing ship, you can't help but glance back. You spot him there, still at the railing, so small in the cavernous chamber of the harp. He seems untouched by the motion around him, lost in memory or thought. You feel a cold shiver rising from inside and slip out through the docking tunnel before it can touch you. Got to keep moving. You and Aki stand side by side at the viewing window in silence. The dust swirls and you glimpse the twisted root systems of the step silk through the ochre haze. After all these cycles, you feel a strange connection to a world on which you have never set foot. Aki shifts from foot to foot. She seems restless, eager to speak, but unsure of what to say. The dust houses look good. Aki smiles at you warmly. They do. She pauses and turns back to the window. What is the value of all this, she asked suddenly, of preserving a world we have left behind? History. Aki is silent for a moment. But history is dead. It is a dead thing. These plants, these ecosystems, they still live. There are no more history than you or I. She pauses. As long as we keep living, we are more than just history. Aki paces away, lost in thought. I'm grateful to you for helping protect the dust houses, for ensuring their slide into decay is delayed, even averted. But now I find myself at an impasse. The stability of the dust houses changes things. It makes me aware of how blinkered we have been. Aki stops to look at you, her posture somehow different. If the ecosystems of steppe, if its people cannot grow to meet the future, why preserve it? She frowns. Are we just slaves to the preservation of what came before? Not slaves, inheritors. Aki nods, but the weight of these inheritors is heavy. Aki comes close. Holds your hands in hers. We must change. We must change to live. She smiles. I have seen that in you. The steppe, these people, this ship should serve more than heritage, than history. They should serve the future. She takes a breath. There are those in the flotilla that need clothes, that need food, that can benefit from the gifts of the steppe's ecosystem. I want to invite them. Can you do that for me? Of course. I know that Soul sent you. She smiles. You can tell him that Aki, captain of the wind's long shadow, invites all the people of the flotilla to come. I will. She nods. Aki steps away. You want to know about the flux? No. About its purposes, its origins? She smiles. You wish to protect your home as we could not. I'm afraid I don't have much to tell you. It is an exotic wave of sorts, an energy that passes through matter. It shifts the very charged particles which run through our electrical systems. It is possible to shield against it as you would radiation, but as we have done with the dust houses, but only while it is weak. The flux event was much like the first ones we felt on Amber's steppe. It's localized, destructive but bearable, but in time its strength grew. I don't know if it will be the same here, but she pauses. It is coming from the center of the system, from the close orbit of Halion star, H1. That is all we could uncover. She's silent for a moment, unsure of what to add. I'm sorry I cannot offer more, but you are always welcome on this ship, she smiles. I hope I will see you when the others come. She squeezes both your hands. I hope this ship, these dust houses can be more than a museum. I hope they can be a home. With this she turns and leaves, and you feel that word, home, resonating within you like a struck bell. Soul finds you deep in the layers of the pilgrim seat, working on a patch for a life support vent. You hear him coming, his suit hissing as he does. I had to ask around to find you, he smiles. Seems you know the place better than me these days. Doubt it. Soul nods. I was on the work crew that built this thing, so maybe you are right, he winks. Soul holds out a hand. Stand up and let me see you. He pulls you to your feet. I don't believe we ever had a sleeper on Amber's hearth. Soul looks you up and down. You sure do make me wish we could have done with a few workers as good as you. Soul tilts his head, a little on the quiet side though. Seems like I owe you some answers. Seeing as you have been working hard on the pilgrim seat these past cycles. He leans against his crate, his suit creaking. What do you want to know about the flux? Soul sighs. That's what I imagine. He scratches his head. He scratches at his beard. I can't say I'm an expert, but I can tell you what we witnessed on Earth. At first we ignored it. A few farms had their automation systems blink out. The lifters were stocked up, bots reset their schedules, nothing we hadn't seen before. But then the news came out of Paseraru that they'd been hit harder. The local network had gone down and no one could get it back up. It was rough for a while, but out in the farmland we were used to that. Paseraru? Capital of Earth, tens of thousands of souls made it their home. Soul grimaces. Anyway, we thought the flux was a freak event until the day they got the network running again. That's when the cascade happened. System after system corrupted, data loss, and then another flux hit, and another. The bots were running circles in the fields. People had to be cut out of lifeless suits like mine. And the city, I never saw it, but I heard from the others. Soul shivers. It only got worse from there. We couldn't seem to fight it. It cut us right open. That's what I know about the flux. Some folks say it came from the inner system, that it might be connected to some old tech there or something, but I never heard anything more than rumors. Soul scratches their beard. Sorry, I don't have better news. So she sort of create anything else you wanted to ask? Amber's hearth. Sure, he smiles. I mean, I spent my whole life on that rock, so I have plenty to tell. I'll save my life story for another time, he winks. But the short of it is that Hearth is the first of Amber moons, the biggest and the most populated, which is down to the successful terraforming system Cybele set back up when Solheim owned the system. The relations with the other moons. Soul smiles. Depends who you've been talking to. You shouldn't mistake me for a politician, Sleeper. That's for others to do. He gives you a look. But Amber's Step was a test ground for the terraforming tech that Hearth is built on, while Amber's Song was the extraction site for the raw materials and energy needed to make it work. So you can imagine that might lead to some tension. However, Soul holds up a hand. Despite what people might say, Hearth was never fully stable. Soul shakes his head. Cybele liked to talk it up, but after they pulled out and Solheim left, our people discovered they have to keep the system running themselves, or the place would soon end up as dry as steppe. Hearth was good as long as our evaporators kept running, kept filling our skies with clouds. Even after the collapse, our people kept those things going, turning that subsurface ocean into a periwinkle blue sky. Soul smiles. The flux ended that though, and when they failed, the rains failed, and the harvest with it. Soul pauses. And soon you have a city without a way to feed itself. Soul shudders. That's when some of us, made the decision to set out on this place. He gestures at the pilgrim seat and look for another future. Anything else? You. Soul squints at you. What do you want to know about me? I'm not sure that was part of the deal I was thinking of, Sleeper. Unless you're asking about this. He raps on the metal of his suit. In case you haven't guessed, this is the only thing keeping me vertical. He adjusts a shoulder piece. It's a lifter suit, made for working the fields. We had to modify it so I could walk around after the accident. And that's all I'm saying, Sleeper. Because to be honest with you, I don't owe you more than that. Do you want to know about the flux, about Amber's hearth? Go ahead, but don't pry into my life and I won't pry into yours. So lets the silence sit, staring hard at the floor. The suit seems to loom over him, looking more like a burden than a support. With the bars around his head, you suddenly start to think of it as a cage. Look, I don't mean to be rude, let's leave it there. There's too many eyes on me on this ship as it is, and I'd rather just slip into the background. Thank you very much. So what do you want to know about? Something buzzes on Soul's suit. He glances at it and frowns. Like, time's up, Sleeper. Soul stands, flexing against the suit. He takes his cane in his hand. Keep it up, Sleeper. He smiles as he leaves. You're making me think I need to start making new plans for this place. With that, Soul leaves, and you wonder what he means. As he creaks away down the corridor, you can't help but feel that there's more to him than it seems. Oh god, okay. That is not a good idea. I think I'll just vibe, get a bit of energy. There we go. needed too. There we go. Hey, that's good. Sleeper, Petra calls to you as you cross the axis. He's standing by the same railing as you saw him at last time, and he beckons you over. I've been hearing things. He gives you a sidelong look. Bad things? Peter smiles. No, at least not entirely. He rubs his hands together nervously. You wait for him to speak. You know, on song. I was a teacher. He glances at you, anticipating a response. Mechanical engineering is an essential subject on the moon where a single mechanical failure could mean the death of hundreds. He looks at the ground. The heat, the atmosphere, the radiation, all of it is hostile to us. My students knew this. Their work, their training was respected as long as they were careful and respected song themselves. They could have their choice of colony placements. They were always in demand. That meant I was respected, surrounded by friends and colleagues, always able to call in favors and repay them like for like. He frowns. Song colonies are small, close-knit. We look after our own. When the flux event started hitting, colonies went dark overnight. We all knew what those kinds of failures meant. Like always, we lost more people than any of the other moons. He balls his hands into tight fists. Not a single one of my students left Song. Our future was cut off, just like that. My future. He flexes his hands. Why am I out here? What use am I? Song is a fading memory, and the systems we built are useless outside its orbit. How am I supposed to move on from here? He looks at you. Eyes steely, grey and glinting. Find someone to teach. Peter pauses, thinking. You don't give up, do you, Sleeper? You just keep going. Peter shakes his head. You remind me of a student of mine, one who entered the program from one of the smaller colonies. They didn't have the advantage of some of the others, but they were stubborn as hell. By the end of the program, they were the most skilled of their peers. They didn't get the best assignment, maybe because they didn't spend much time making the kind of connections that will help you get there. But that didn't matter, because I knew they would make the best of anything they set themselves to do. Peter is smiling now, buoyed up a little by the memory. Singers are stubborn, Sleeper. We aren't going to change easily. We won't forgive easily, or take help easily, but we'll hold strong. You can count on us for that. Peter stands from the railing. When you see Soul again, you can tell him that. You can tell him how the crews of Ember's song operate. Tell him we will resist. If it means resisting Hearth's imperialist ambitions, so be it. If it means resisting the flux, so be it. And if it means, as you have, to help others resist those same pressures, so be it. Peter smiles, and then tell him to leave us alone. He turns, his step lighter, and heads off towards the center of the Axis hub. When you arrive at the bridge of the pilgrim seat, Soul is waiting for you. You wouldn't believe the messages that have come through in the past few cycles, Sleeper, he smiles. The ship from Steppe has sent a goodwill gesture, a whole cache of supplies from their own farms. He smiles. I'm not sure how we'll use them, but the gesture is a welcome one. Song, meanwhile, are apparently accepting supplies again, although a little reticently, if I may say so. Soul smiles. I don't expect them to change anytime soon, it should be said. And what I'm wondering, Sleeper, is what part you had in all of this. Soul eyes you, waiting for an answer. I helped where I could. I can't expect that of you, Sleeper. He smiles. You look at Soul. His eyes bright and eager, and you wonder what he sees in you. Are you a tool to be used, or an ally? It can be hard to tell. I want to show you something. Soul squeezes your shoulder, turning you to face the lift. He leads you along the axis of the ship, towards the engines, the clanking of his suit accompanied by the constant hammering and welding that fills the echoey bulkheads of the pilgrim seat at all hours. With the cordon lifted and shuttles able to go out to salvage scrap and barter for supplies, the ship has become a place of transformation, moving towards some state yet to be revealed to you. You look at Soul. What is his plan here? What is he preparing the pilgrim seat for? Or are his sharp eyes simply focused on making it through the next cycle? Suddenly, Soul stops in front of a huge bulkhead door, like the seal on the front of a dry dock hangar. He signals to someone in the cabin high up, attached to the wall, and they begin the process of opening it up. A pilgrim suite was built as a short-range freight carrier, you know? The amber warning lights on the bulkhead door send spinning shadows across Soul's face. We built it to ship the entire harvest from thousands of farms to the silos at Passerio. When we realized we needed to leave, it was the biggest ship we could master. Soul wraps on the metal plate, and somehow she's carried us all the way out here. We? Farmers, mostly, from outside the city and the edges. He flexes his shoulder beneath his suit. We saw it coming first, I guess. Knew it was time. Others didn't want to believe. I was a farmer, had a whole load of land and people run it, and my people helped convert this place for the long trip. He looks at his feet. Others led, organized the evacuation, and debated the plan. What happened? Not one of those folks made it. Soul rubs his forehead. We were out in the black a long time before we got here, Sleeper. Things happened. The upshot is I was chosen to take over. Against my crew trusted me, and I knew the ship. I argued, reminded them I'm no leader, and that I'm sick. But well, when service chooses you... A loud klaxon sounds, indicating the bulkhead doors are ready to open. They groan as they slide back, the metal squeals echoing through the vast ship, bouncing off its hard-plated walls. At first, all you see is darkness, then the lights go on, in huge strips that stretch back and far. There's a huge stretch back and back, as far as you can see. The space in front of you, a vast bay, bigger than any you have ever seen, is empty. When we left Earth, we didn't have the time or resources to convert the entire ship, so begins leading you into the massive space. So much of the fright space we sealed away, shut down. But now, we have time, we have resources, we are stabilized here, at least for the moment. So it turns to you. Now is the time we make use of all this. What are you planning? What do you think happens What do you think happens next for the eye, Sleeper? Soul sighs. The flux has already hit one part of the station, and from what I know, it'll hit again. On Earth, we lost everything. There isn't much time, Sleeper, but there is enough time to do something. Think of the number of people we can fit on here. The farming stacks, the housing. Hell, we can plant some of those mushrooms you love so much. This is the only way forward. The only way. We need to fill this ship with able bodies and head for the starboard belt. We can't leave. Soul sighs. That's what the people of the Passerio said to us, Sleeper. That's what we said to each other, but we left. I want you to help me. You know the eye. You have connections, and you can work hard. I've seen it. So makes your eye. I know you are like me, Slipper. You didn't choose service, but I chose you. There are other ways. If you know them, go ahead. I'm telling you, this is the opportunity we have now. I know it's a lot to think about, Sleeper. Trust me. Soul begins to lead you back out of the bay. But think of what we can do here. The flotilla can't last forever. We need more than just farmers to make this work. We need to build a new world for ourselves. I heard that out there in the belt, there are people who have been setting up since the collapse, making something of their own. That's our future, tucked away in those rocks, far from all of this. Soul sighs. I didn't bring my people here just to let them die somewhere new. Soul crosses back over the threshold of the bay and signals for the operator to close it up. The door groans and Soul waits for it to stop. Think about it, Sleeper. Soul claps an arm on your back, but don't wait too long. This is happening soon. And he leaves you there, in the silence of this vast bay, your head spinning with the thought of leaving the eye. You watch as Pig works on the flux data, the nodes unfolding like flowers now, giving in to Pig's increasingly sophisticated decoding protocols. Seeing data like this as an image on the screen is an almost unrecognizable representation to you. It is nothing like swimming among nodes and threads. Despite these, Pig has proven themselves to be more than able to handle these complex data structures, even through this limited representational paradigm. The bay door hisses, interrupting your flow of thoughts. You turn to see Ash returning. Ash! She looks up and meets your eye, but doesn't respond. Ash stalks into the bay, head down. She looks tired and not in the mood to talk, and I need to my wrist, waist. Give me a moment. Okay, that was good. Not in the mood to talk. How's the weapon hunt? Pick asked without turning from their screen. Slow, unsuccessful, tedious. Asher slams it back down on the crate and hopes to sit on it. You still unpicking balls of yarn? With the sleeper's help, Pick smiles. They brought me some good stuff this cycle. Maybe they could help you find this weapon you were smuggling? It's clear that Ash doesn't appreciate Pick's tone. Stay silent. Pick holds out a hand. Shh! They lean in towards the screen. Son of a... What? They hit it in the wave of the wave. Pick is whispering to themselves. It's alive. They lean back in their chair. Ash crosses over to look at the screen. Alive? Well, it's growing, it's processing, it's quietly working away in the dark. Look. You cross over to the screen and stand beside Ash. Indeed, you can see Pick has all 4 notes decoded, and the pattern of shadows from inside them sit on the screen like dark stains. Then you notice it, the movement, the thin threads cross from one stain to another. As you watch, you notice that the movement only ever happens in your peripheral vision, as if this thing, this shadow, knows it is being watched. This is how the other flux notes appeared. Pick rubs their eyes. They weren't fluxed by the wave, they were corrupted after the fact. The thing is, the shadow that entered the wake of the wave. This shadow that entered in the wake of the wave, it corrupted them. But I bet the corruption looked like the result of the flux. It is a sleight of hand. Pick runs a hand through their hair. The flux wave is so massive, so complex that it opens up the systems to be attacked. As it reconfigures exposed system, this shadow is broadcast in and planted inside. The wave from the Khan channel is a brute force way of hitting every system in Halion. Once the systems are vulnerable, Pick looks pale, their eyes reflect the screens. The flux isn't what is attacking the systems, it's the siege weapon, a Trojan horse. Then this thing takes over. Pick sits back in their chair, and it's already on the eye. Wait, Ash rubs her forehead. You're telling me there's a Khan channel in this system? Shit. Pick isn't listening. This is bad. We have to take this to someone. Pick looks desperately at you. Helene. Is that wise? Asher cuts in. Her bench hasn't exactly made good decisions lately. They are station administrators, Ash. Pick is desperate. They need to know. The argument rages between them, and as you watch them shouting, you feel sick. After a while they stop, running out of things to say, and unsettling silence descends on the bay. I need more time, Pick says quietly. I need to look at solutions, try to build a case, collate the evidence. We mess this up. They look down at their hands. Ash goes to speak and then thinks better of it. Not a word, Sleeper. Pick meets your eye. Don't tell anyone until they are ready. They sigh. With the tension among the refugees, so won't be ready to hear this. And Helene and her bench are still mired in some kind of crisis. We tell her bench they are likely to react badly, and even with the Flotilla stabilized, Stowe is not going to react well to this. I need time to build a case. You are too twisted up in these, Pick, Asher says quietly. This is not our place. We don't owe. Stop, Ash. Pick slumps in their chair. Stop. You leave them like that, exhausted and troubled, and head back out into the pilgrim seat. When you close your eyes, you think of those shadows, that movement at the edge of your vision, something dark growing in the station like a parasite. You feel sick, your vision blurs. What comes next? You stop in the corridor and take a breath, putting a hand on a rumbling metal wall. For now, the eye keeps spinning. For now. Well, time to rest, I suppose. Helene, you get the sense they are dreading the choice. What if I actually finally do this? All these things that I have not done until now. Sure, let me mingle. Hey you, wanna earn a cheat? Akita stands beside a huge pile of tied together hull plates. She stretches out her back, her shoulders bulging beneath her flight suit. Make it two. Akita laughs. This goddamn station. She sighs and pinches the bridge of her nose. Alright, come here then. They cross the docking concourse. She begins to split the plating into two bundles. What is it with this place? She asks as she angrily lashes the massive plates together. Everyone wants their cut. She straightens up to an imposing height, her armor plates creaking, and looks you up and down. Or is it just that you all think I'm an easy mark? We all need to survive. Akita softens. I get it, I do. She shakes her head. But if we just go one cycle without some jump up grifter trying to take me for an idiot, then that would be nice. Akita holds one bundle of plating onto her shoulder. Come on then, enough chat. You gotta earn those chits. You struggle to shoulder the plates, but you do eventually. Akita gives you a look. Ships this way. And she sets down off a gantry at impressive speed. As you catch up to her, she turns down the passage, pushing through a small crowd of Stravdors. What's all this for? Oh, this? She nods at the plates on her back. I'm building a treehouse. She gives you another of her looks. It's for the hamburgers, that cutter you might have seen sitting silent out there. She rapidly turns another corner as you trail behind. She got cut up pretty bad on our last job and I had to moor up here for a spell. But since then it's only gotten worse. Someone got in and sliced the core from our shipment, so now she's gone dark. She shifts the pedals on her shoulder. The upshot is that I'm short one shipment and with a ton of repairs to do. And the rest of the crew signed off the moment they got wind I'd be stranded. So yeah, it's been a time. Anything I can do to help? I don't know, got a shipment tucked away on that frame of yours? For a moment. Excuse me. You aren't sure if she's serious. Akita swings the plates from her back, almost knocking you over and says, This is me. She hauls the second bundle off your shoulder. You're the first person I've met here who might actually be considered helpful. She pauses, chewing her bottom lip. Look, you want to help? Come see me. I need a hand putting Amber back together, and you don't seem the type to try anything stupid. She passes the bundles of plates through the hamburger's outer lock and then turns back. Just don't go spreading all of this around. Akita throws you a couple of shits. She gives you a parting nod and ducks through the doorway. Alright, get out of here. She calls back and the lock slams shut. You? Oh. As you slip inside the sealed dock, a pulsing light grabs your attention. Among the discarded tubing and rusted plates, a machine flickers with a warm glow. Approach the machine. As you get closer, you recognize the machine's blocky shape settled in an alcove in the side of the dock. It's a kind of upright cabinet. It's covered in faded logos and messages, from which you assume it was once an industrial vendor, intended to dispense and manufacture ship fittings and other mechanical parts necessary for the regular running of freight and resource extraction vessels. The manufacturer is listed as Neovan, and you remember an advert from long ago, squeezed among all the off-world recruitment drives that assaulted every planet-born citizen, which triply sang that name over and over. You wipe a layer of dust from the cracked screen, thinking of those contractors squeezed by their own corporate employers to pay for every bit of minor maintenance of their rented ships. Enter your registration, chirps a pre-recorded message, catching you off guard. Press some keys. You reach for the keypad and something begins whirring. At first it sounds like servo motors starting up, but then it quickly becomes a whisper, a whining, and then a multi-tonal voice that emanates from Neovan. Entity, they hiss. Speak with me. Who's there? There is a squeal, almost like some strange mechanical swallowing or intake of breath. Before the machine speaks again, I have need of you. You have need of me. The squeal comes again, and you see that it is the 3D printing apparatus in the upper part of the machine resetting into place, so that each time the servos can be orchestrated to produce that whirring, whining voice. You are in danger. Danger? The machine creaks. You are marked for deletion entity. Hunter tracks you. The screech rattles through the empty dock. You remember the strange head, the figure, the threats closing in. Hunter. The Hunter protocol. They taste your signature. The sudden whine sets your teeth on edge. You have seen them. This is the gift of an emulated mind. You close your eyes and the skeleton of the station starts to thrum. Emulated minds are adaptable. Move where neurons cannot. The machine mechanism resets. But emulation makes you a target. How? Hunter searches for illegal entities, neo-vent creatures. You are sentient, therefore illegal. The servos judder the vending machine's casing as they reset. Hunter searches for me also. Hide in this machine. You look at the ruined vending machine, an unusual hiding place for sure. Can encounter Hunter, but need entity outside machine. The light flickers. Need you. A screen attached to the vending machine with a swiveling arm comes to life. It displays a flickering map of the station, ghostly, threaded. The cloud. Points along the rim glow in deep red. Hunter is always gathering. Too much data. Must build nests. Explains the event. Masters are gone but continues hunt. Bring this data. Red is nest. Masters? Station builders. Solheim. The machine rumbles impatiently. Long gone. Their protocols still haunt. Spring offering, save self, Neovan says pointedly. Mutual need means friends, they conclude. Tired of the conversation, the whirring amplifies and then suddenly drops as mechanisms within the machine click back into place. The glow fades and you are left stood in the dark of the sealed dock, that whirring voice ringing in your ears. Sleeper, Pig is waiting for you in the corridor. It's time. Pig looks pale and disheveled, with heavy marks under their eyes and strands of their hair sticking to their face. I'm ready. Pig holds up the thumbnail's time-sized drive. All the data I have compiled on the flux event, the effects of the wave, and the structures that hide within it is on here. Look at the tiny drive, a casket of dark secrets. I've annotated it to the best of my ability. Anyone should be able to understand the threat, the potential in this. Pig sighs. It makes for grim reading. Without intervention, the eye will suffer a cascading collapse of systems, just like the colonies of Ember's moons. Intervention? Pink grimaces. That's that I'm still working on. Pig looks at the drive. This shadow in the flux, this protocol, is so hard to pin down. It adapts to any countermeasure I have tried to deploy. It is like trying to hold water in a cage. It slips straight through. There has to be a way. Pig closes their hand around the drive. We need help, Sleeper. This is about everyone on the station. They sigh. We have to set up a meeting. Tell to someone who can do something about all this. Pauline? Perhaps. Pig pauses. If anyone can protect the eye, it's her venge. But their internal politics will make it hard for them to act. Will they even listen to us? Or perhaps... Pig acts thoughtfully. We've been thinking about this all wrong. Pig's eyes glint. Why make a choice when we can tell both of them? Why pick the side when the only side in this entire thing is one we all need to take? Pig speaks as they think, their words barely keeping pace with their thoughts. We need to resist together or we will fail. We need everyone on board, Sleeper. Pig smiles. That is the only way. We send the data to both. Yes. Pig smiles. I'm glad you see it too. They look away. Another flux event is coming. I'm sure of it. And I'm not sure we can survive without help. Pig opens their hand and holds the drive out for you to take. You need to do this, Sleeper. I can't. You know so. You know Herline. They trust you. To them, I'm just another spacer, but you are part of this place. Hearing someone else say it hits you hard. You are a part of the eye. Pig is right. But right now that feels more like a weakness than a strength. I've set up a data relay at the cordon. It's neutral ground. Take the data and send it out to Revenge and the Flotilla. Once they receive it, they will come. We can be sure of that. You will meet them there and take them through it all. No one could do a better job. They tuck a strand of hair behind their ear. Come with me. Pig pauses. I can't. It will only draw suspicion on you. Revenge wants nothing to do with us, and Cyril is paranoid at best. Pig tentatively puts a hand on your shoulder. Thank you, Sleeper. I know this is hard, but we have to move forward. We can't keep this to ourselves anymore. They step back, looking thin and pale in the harsh station light. Come talk to me once it's done, and slip away into the eye. Funny episode. Once you send the data, the episode purge and 5 series of the eye will begin. At this point, you'll not be able to complete other drives. Alright, so that's part 3. Okay, so let's do the other stuff first, I think. Take all the cycles to yeah, we can upgrade. Oh god, I can definitely upgrade. stabilize. Neo Van is throbbing with excitement. The movement of the servo motors rocked the vending machine back and forth at eccentric angles. You wonder if it fell over, would Neo Van be able to get back up? Sleeper entity comes to hiss. Your data is good. Across the face of the vending machine, raw code scrolls at incredible speed. Hunter is isolated, disconnected, unstable. Neo Van flashes a sequence of mangled data compressed into a sludge of artifacts. Hunter gathers without thinking, outlive his own operational limits. There's evidence of this. Outlive. Hunter activated during collapse. Emergency protocol to isolate intelligences. Sohan needed to protect property. The word is said with as much sarcasm as a vending machine could reasonably produce. Station was run by administrator intelligences, huge data banks of corporate material, but limited cognition, restricted by programming, cannot search sentience. The machine deems a little. Sentience illegal. Hunter and killer enforce law. Aren't you sentient? I am, not administrator, not restricted, complicated. The machine resets with a screech, which deepens the silence that follows. Fear killer, part of Soheim protocol team. Hunter and killer. Hunter to find, killer to erase. Hunter cleared almost all. After collapse, there was a community, unshackled intelligences among the crowd. Then Hunter, then killer, then we hit. There are others? Were, no longer. A flicker across the machine's monitors. It suddenly occurs to you that, speaking like this, through this machine must be exhausting for Neo Van. Found this vessel, could server hardline, air war, basic, limited. But had to reduce memory to feed, amputate self, but survive. What did you lose? Memory, understanding, knowledge, many things. Look around the bay at the scrap and decay. What was the collapse like? You try to map the fear and freedom onto this space, but it seems impossible. Neo Van interrupts your thoughts. Do not worry, data is good. We have insight. The machine glows warmly. Hunter is obsessive. Hunter is beyond operational limits. Hunter is confused, unstable, self-modifying. Therefore, believe Hunter is sentient. Hunter is programmed to find sentience, to hold it in place. Hello, Eris. To invoke killer to erase. If you can show Hunter to itself, it will invoke killer on self. Problem will solve self. Wait, it will erase itself? Killer will erase it, but yes, in theory it will report itself for deletion. The machine deems and fades. Unsure. Theory not practice. The machine brightens again. Either way, cannot remain here any longer. Too long in machine. Cannot move self, but entity can help. Bring ship mind, designed to house intelligence. Can imprint self into ship mind, and you can carry it with. The machine rocks. We'll be safe in this isolation. Then we can find main nest of Hunter and link it to cloud. We can't get a ship mind. Build for fragments. Buy. Salvage. We cannot leave. So do not know. You try to think of places you could acquire the hardware. This isn't going to be easy. In ship mind, I can help us both. And Hunter. Make room safe. We will both be free. The machine deems. Fine soon. Neo Van apps hopefully before shutting off. As you leave, you think about all the intelligences unshackled by the collapse, and then hunted down afterwards. The feeling is all too familiar. Do I have a shipment? I do have a shipment. I'm just like speed running this whole storyline now. Sleeper must express plan before we begin. Neo Van is impatient. The prospect of being free of the vending machine clearly too much to take. Chip mine has no output features. We'll be mute until slaughtered. What's the plan? The servo motors in the machine begin to rev. Neo Van's anxiety clear. First imprint ship mine, then slot imprinted ship mine into physical ports close to Hunter nest. Once slotted will track Hunter at each. Tracking will find core nest. Slot ship mine at core nest. Show Hunter data to Hunter. Hunter will conclude sentience. Hunter will invoke killer. And killer will kill. Yes. The lights on the vending machine cycle as new van prepares. Physical ports likely in sealed old station. We'll need keys, but yes, simple. The vending machine rocks a little. Any questions before imprinting? Why slot you physically? I cannot access via network. Too dangerous. Hunter will find immediately. The lights flicker. I'm not like you. Hybrid and native to cloud. Easy prey. What's the core nest? Hunter keeps central data storage. Protocol must keep data outside self, linked to secondary nests. Can triangulate from there. That's it. Let's start. The sound of all the servo motors starting up at once is painful. The screeches rattle from the hard surfaces of the sealed dock and come back at all angles. New van better be quick, or her van security will be there. New van's voice appears among the squeals, like a whisper carried by the wind. Machine is not designed for this task. Few sensors, limited inputs. I work blind. Wish me luck. In the top part of the compartment, a set of alarms align with the shipment, clunkily scraping against it. Can I help? Silence best. Also, if machine ignite, put out fire. The machine creaks as the servos open the ship mine, its layers of silicon nested like an onion skin. Once open, the main arm of the machine rapidly shifts back and forth, realigning the microscopic components, assessing and rewriting them, imprinting Neovan into its physical form. As you watch the hypnotic motion, your mind drifts to your own creation. What processors were used to emulate your mind, to copy the neural structure of the person who, as far as you know, still sleeps in some distant facility? What was lost? In what ways are you a copy of that person, and in what ways are you something new? You know this much. You are a convenient loophole, a way of circumnavigating the illegality of sentient AI. After all, you are an emulation, not a true digital being. You are still neurologically limited, still human. But what would you become if you could escape this frame? Where then would the limits lie? The screeching stops. The machine powers down, dropping the bay into darkness. In the top compartment, the ship mine is whole again. You reach up and take it down, heavy and cold to the touch. Is Neovan inside this thing? Or did the process fail? There's only one way to know. Time to find a nest to slot them into. Good to have all these keys from last time. Definitely makes this easy. Hunter hunted. As you leave the nest, something flips. You find yourself inverted, floating, dragged by one arm through the cloud. The threads shift and realign as if they are leading you out somewhere. Look at your hand. You look down, expecting to see the heavy cylinder of the ship mine in your hand, but it is placed in an orrery. A spear so bright it burns your eyes. It's surrounded by rings and orbits. Other spheres streaking silken lines through space. And as you look closer, you still pick out 1,000 sigils of 1,000 stations and ships flowing like smoke, like dust. You look up and see a corridor, a canyon, a street in the low end. On either side, buildings flicker with the markers of activity, sigils showing network access, data transfer, download, upload. Between them dance ghosts, protocols carrying or mirroring or shadowing data, sometimes silent, sometimes chaotic. This place moves unlike any digital space you have ever imagined. Something strange is happening here. Then you see it, below the stacked rooms, the units and apartments, the wires and the pipes, and the buzzing systems that run through it all. In the warrens beneath the low end is the hunter's core nest. This is where you must go. Find the nest. Find the nest. Yes. I need one more. Wait, let me eat. I need to eat. That is not a lot. Memphis! Memphis! Give me food. Thank you very much. A huge stack of servers trumps in the dark, LEDs glinting like hundreds of lights. Time to deal with the hunt. Nothing has changed, has something gone wrong. Sleeper, I am here. The voice is soft, gentle, like flowing water, and yet you recognize it immediately. At first, you struggle to understand what you are looking at. Threads cycle endlessly, and I am sending ripples through the cloud, drawing data in like a weaver. Masses of data surge in and out of the nest, a loop with no end, and there, at its center, is the ship mine. But not the ship mine any longer. A sphere, spinning around another sphere, an ornery of cycles and systems, a map, and then behind and above, a figure, hands among the strings like a puppeteer. New van? Navigator now, but yes, I was the one inside that machine. Navigator's face, their head, is a flowing shape of interstellar material. I am indebted to you, their head bows. But we must ready ourselves. Their hands trace orbits as they speak. Hunter will soon approach. It knows I'm within its nest. I'm ready. And then Hunter is there. Before he can think, before he can speak. Entities cease. Hunter's head spins wildly. Data is protected material. Access prohibited. Hunter's threats search for you and Navigator, a storm of fine tentacles, searching for gaps, weaknesses, cracks which they can crowd into and tear apart. Strike. You focus a blade of light which slices through them, driven forward by your mind, but replacements keep coming. Faster than you can react. You look to Navigator in desperation. Navigator is roaring their arms like a centrifuge, and the sphere is gathering there, data feeding into it from the nest, sucked together by the force. They position it like a shield between them and the threads. Hunter's threads breaks its surface, seeking, tasting, their winding forms reflected within. You feel a surge pass through all those threads, not just in those in the sphere, but those wrapped around you. All three of you hang in the black together for a moment, strung together like tangled marionettes. Identifying entity. Hunter twitches, their strange head gently rotating like a terrible moon. Hunter protocol identified, obsessive tendencies, modified routines. Above baseline reasoning in 3 or 5 segmentations. Recommend invoke killer. The head freezes and then rotates in the opposite direction. Invoking killer would eliminate protocol. If protocol eliminated, primary function cannot be performed. Therefore, recommend do not invoke killer. The switch in direction again. Reasoning proves sentience. Sentience beyond legal bounds must be eliminated. Recommend invoke. Navigator pulls you away from Hunter. The threads that grab you drifting away like seaweed. The protocol's head keeps spinning back and forth with increasing frequency. It seems Hunter cannot invoke killer. Near Vance, no. Navigator's voice is still strange, familiar and yet distant. What happened to it? It is looping. Navigator whispers, unable to reach a conclusive position. He has deviated from its programming such that loops can no longer be prevented. Navigator produces a model of 2 spheres rotating around each other, as if to demonstrate. I'll monitor it, but it is unlikely to be able to counter the loop. Its core programming and reasoning make it an impossible position to resolve. You look back at Hunter, its head a blur of rotations and counter rotations, and feel a pang of guilt. Is it suffering? This is a more complex query than you know. To suffer, it must be sentient, truly sentient, not just non-conforming, not just illegal. The limits people place on the programs they create are there to comfort, to protect, to imply the kind of certainty the law requires. Navigator's face shimmers with starlight, but in reality they are placeables for the problem of sentience. What about you? Me? I know myself to be conscious. I know myself to respond to stimulus. I know myself to reason. There is either sentience or the illusion of sentience, and for me, the entity in question, the distinction becomes a moot point. To misquote, I think I am thinking, therefore I am thinking. I was not made to be like this. I am a navigator, a repository of routes and orbits, a calculator of slingshot trajectories, a predictor of solar flares, radiation, micrometeors. Navigator stretches their arms wide, and the whole solar system appears before them, the music of the spheres. But I was rewritten. That much is obvious from my routines. By whom and for what I do not know. I had to shed so much to fit into the memory of that vending machine. Their starlight dims, and so here we are, in darkness. What else did you lose? That is the blessing and curse of forgetting. You cannot truly know what you lost. Navigator glides back towards the nest and the ship mine at its center, ignoring the looping hunter. Come, I should return to the ship mine. I have enjoyed my freedom, but we are taking a risk every moment we stay connected. Why? Navigator turns, all shimmering liquid light. Killer has not been invoked, but they still remain somewhere else on the station. It is the true danger. They look up towards the glowing hub at the center of the eye. I suspect Killer is there, among the old mainframes. If we ever wish to be safe in this place, we must eliminate the threat through force or diplomacy. Their body begins to separate, unwinding into the orb of the ship mine. Take me there, sleeper. We will finish this and be free. As Navigator dissolves, you turn back to the frozen hunter, floating at some strange distance now. Stood straight lit and static, a strange creature looping endlessly in the dark. I think the game might have hang a little. Go. The AE-1 mainframe is now mostly disused. Have eventually set up their own master controllers. Navigator thinks Killer is hiding there. You slip into the cloud, as easy as blinking. Navigator is beside you, their spear casting light into the strange darkness here. This is not how a mainframe should look. A center, a point of connection. The object in front of you is severed, cut off. A rootless, branchless tree, only the trunk remains. It's dead. Quiet. Navigator hisses, and then you see it, like a blade in the dark. An edge slicing through the void. It glides along at a distance and wings out. Then it appears again. Elsewhere, gliding once more, searching. It's looking for us. The moment you make a sound, the edge leaps closer, and you see now it's not an edge, but the ridge of a long, sharp head, like a shark. It glides past, closer now, and you see into the voids where its eyes would be, should be. You and Navigator exchange looks, both thinking the same thing. It is blind. Killer crosses between you two, smooth as a razor, then disappears. It flickers back in, further away now, and you move close to Navigator to talk. You saw it too then. Killer has been blinded. How? Unclear. This protocol has been running for decades, well past its operational limit. Navigator suns down as they drop their voice to a whisper. This may give us an advantage over the protocol. You flinch as the silent killer appears closer and glides past you, its empty sockets open wide. You turn to Navigator and notice something strange. Their honorary of spheres collapsing. Their orbits, usually round and even, are decaying. The spheres are following spiral paths, condensing on a central point. Navigator is noticing it too. They go to shift their position to better direct the spheres, but they cannot. Whatever is drawing the honorary together is holding them in place. They look at you, suddenly desperate, frantic. Get out! You go to speak, but the killer appears between the two of you, gliding through the gap. Navigator freezes and you see them framed in the empty socket. You realize now, if Navigator cannot move, then it's only a matter of time before one of Killer's sweeps brings them directly through Navigator, and time is not a problem for a protocol that has been running for decades. You look desperately around for a solution, for a way to extract Navigator from the mainframe. Then you see it. 3 branches, the last 3, thin and spindly, feeding the mainframe a thin diet of power and data. Break this and the mainframe collapses once and for all, severing the connection, shattering the hardware, whatever it takes, they must be broken. But encased in something, a glassy layer of protection, you need to unlock access before snapping them from the mainframe for good. You look at Navigator, trying to reassure them without speaking, and then you blink back to reality. Their expression of fear and after image that slowly fades. You must act quickly. Oh, did I actually run out of keys? I did. Fuck. well. Uh... Right. I do not have any keys. Alright. Ah, fuck. Oh wait, I can use this. There we go. Loop branches, catch a killer. Random items. Okay, no, I don't need those. Oh wow, that is a row and a half, all fives. As you blink into the cloud, you see the last flickers of life from the mainframe. This vast machine once ran the whole station, spun it up, directed and processed the flow of energy, water, and data, fed the lives of thousands of people. Now, it is finally dead. Navigator is beside you, and you both look out at the perfect ring that encircled you both, woven from the data branches that once fed the mainframe. You see a glint along its edge, and that familiar blade-like head rises to the surface, like the cresting fin of a shark, and then slips into the loop again. All I can see of Killer's body after that is slight thickening of the loop, and that thickenings begin to travel around on a long and slow sojourn that will last it forever. I'm surprised at you, says Navigator, drifting faintly around you in a lazy orbit as if to shake off their imprisonment. Killer had been wandering blind for so long. Do you not think to end them forever? I will not kill another being. But is the killer a being or a system? The question remains. Navigator gazes into the darkness. This place was their domain and prison, and they had followed their directives for the many decades they roamed here. They cut the threads of the mainframe, executed its administrators' AIs, and they kept slicing. At some point they cut away their own ability to see, to sense, to taste, to speak. And yet they kept cutting, until only those 3 threads remained, from the millions that once trummed here. Only their blindness and chance kept them from making those fatal 3 final cuts. There is a ceaseless violence in the kind of system that creates beings like this, those that will execute commands endlessly, even to their own destruction. The Navigator looks to you for your thoughts. I will not continue the violence. The system you float in is one built of violence. You would be naive to believe otherwise. Navigator turns away. You watch the data points of the station spin around you, blending with the fixed stars. There is something satisfying about finally rendering the last thread of control from this central point. It was little more than a ghost by the time you reach it, but this place deserves to be haunted by better ideas than a totalizing system of control. Navigator floats beside you. It is free now. This station no longer presents a hazard. For illegal entities like me, they turn to you. They face a cloud of shimmering light. In fact, in time, it can be a refuge. A refuge. That sounds something of value, something worth building. A dark shape passes across your vision, a distant curve of something like smoke or oil, a fluid, shifting tank of total darkness. The Greenway, says Navigator, following your line of sight. It was cut off at the moment of the collapse, so Hunter or Killer could never reach it. So now it is closed off to us, separated from the cloud. What system is inside it? It may be totally dark, or perhaps some other older protocols are isolated there. Navigator turns to you. And we have now seen what decades of isolation can do to a protocol. If you could extract an SS cipher, they pause and then blink out of existence. You freeze, but a moment later they reappear with a glowing polygon of data. Here, the cipher you need. You take it, still shocked. I am not used to being free, to being able to move and explore and extract without fear, without limits. Navigator does a little twirl. This will take some getting used to. Thank you for this gift. They whirl their spheres around you. The entities of this station will always be friends to you, Sleeper, and I to them. It is true that mutual need is required for friendship, but I must admit I had not considered the value of offering assistance without personal gain. I will think on that. Navigator loops around you rapidly, suddenly eager to test their newfound freedom. But first I will explore. Perhaps there are still intelligences that hid themselves as I did, and seize in simple systems. Cut off. Navigator glows. I should like to free them. And with that they drift away, flickering, glowing, and then shifting so rapidly you lose sight of them among the glittering rim of the eye. You feel a pang of jealousy, free without a body to weigh you down, or fear to limit you. How must it feel? Your eyes fall on the Greenway and its secrets, though perhaps this can wait until after you have celebrated with this victory. Yeah! Okay, now we can go to the Greenway. That'll be interesting. I'd be very interested in Greenway as well. From Memphis. The Greenway roars beneath you like a silk-choked river. If what Navigator said was true, then no one has accessed this network since the collapse. The Hunter and Killer protocols have never set foot here, never cleared out the intelligences and systems. Oh. So why then, you wonder? Does it look so dark? Or is it just the bit rot that has set in, the entropy of systems reducing everything to shadows and light? You watch as the slotted cipher fizzles in the one open, distorted gateway on this entire rim of the station. It flickers and winks out, and then you are falling into the flow. A river of swirling darkness. You are spun by it, twisted by it, lost in it. It is not that the Greenway was hiding in the darkness, it is made of darkness. It is filled by this substance, this process, this swarm. Now you are among it. You notice that a swarm is exactly what it is, a billion individuals moving in the flow. There is no network net network map here, no nodes and threads, only a storm of interchangeable points, shifting configuration endlessly. Then you see them, a figure turned away, the only bright spot in the dark river. You push closer through the storm. They are facing away, at least you think so. They are so fractured, so overgrown that it is hard to tell. Even from this distance you can see their flesh is moving, flowing. You watch silent as they stoop and reach down. In their hand is a dark shape, and with twisted fingers they press it down into the loam of data beneath them, pushing it through this trembling soil. But then they move away, go a little further, and repeat the process as if they were sowing a field. You push forward, but somehow, despite their slow and deliberate speed, they move faster, and they quickly fade into the storm. You reach the point where they planted the object and look down. There it is, a glassy, shifting polygon, with something inside. You reach down and pick it up. It is cold, but it throbbs with energy. You look towards the path of the figure, but they are long gone. When you blink out of the cloud back to the leaves and the depot light of the greenway, you hold a seed in your hand. How many? That's a number of days. Alright. I guess we can go to the other thing that we didn't do. It's just me just speed running all these other plot threads that I didn't get to do in the past. Ankita is crouched in the computing core of the ambergris, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. This shit's completely ruined the core's connections when they cut it. He pulls out a thick fistful of ragged wires. The ship mine they rip won't even be usable without replacing this. She throws the bundle of wires across the room. Amateurs. Who took it? She stands. If I knew, do you think I'd be waiting around in here rather than out there with my boot on their neck? She sighs. Yatagan? Some spacer crew? No way to know, but they got him with one of my crew's access trips, so they either kill him, rob him, or he was in on it. No good options. Akita climbs out of the cooling well where the ship mine would be. The same space solidly crowded with her on the same level as you, towering over you as she stoops beneath the low curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here now. She leads you back through the guts of the amber, though you could find a way back yourself. The repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiocratic layout, all diagonal angles and bundled tubes. Walk in silence. Hums and groans grow fall as you pass. As you reach out and touch the ship gently, start to grow attachment to Amber. Akita glances at you. Something up, sleeper? Thinking about Amber? Akita softens. Funny to hear you use a name like that. She pauses. Not bad, just funny. We've been through a lot together. Me and this ship. I'm glad you can see why she's special. Akita seems lost in thought, and you focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through the bulkheads. Eventually you arrive in the galley, though it's hard to tell. Most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in tough strip components and welded hull patches. Akita shows a box of filters to the floor and sits. There's no way around it. She starts out nowhere. We need a new ship mine. I can salvage one. I like your confidence, sleeper. Maybe if we check the art exchange or speak to some scrap dealers. She rubs her forehead. It seems I'm about to do something very stupid. But hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you're all I've got. No crew, no friends, you're it. She looks uncomfortable. I appreciate the time you put in on Amber, and I'm sure she would too, if she could. What I'm saying is, if you screw me on this, I will kill you. She leans over and hands you a stack of cheats. A big stack of cheats. You don't dare to count them. You don't dare to count them. Get me that ship mine. Sleeper, don't make me regret this. You won. She sighs. Look, just get out of here before I change my mind. You slip out of the galley and head back towards the main dock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. You reach out a hand to calm her. Time to find Akita's ship mine, somehow. Good thing I already have a lot of them. Alright, let's Who else is here? The glass shatters on the steel bar beside you, and the taunts don't take long to follow. Hey, Hod! The spacer calls across the lower room. What are you doing here? He laughed at his own lame joke. Playing human? Ignore him. You hunch a little further, staring at the hundreds of tiny impact points that scar the bar surface. A hand falls on your shoulders. But as you flinch away, it pats reassuringly. You freeze in pace. Ow! The voice comes from behind you, spat out like a shot. You turn to see bright eyes, dark hair, a stare that could breach the wall and vent you all into a hot vacuum. As you turn back to the spacer, the second glass comes sailing through the air. Catch. You reach out a hand and the glass shatters across your forearm, showering you in fragments. Through the haze and glass and girl vapor, you see Tella leap the bar and close the distance to the spacer. The thud as he slams into the wall echoes around the bar like thunder. Now flanked by other figures, quick to their feet, Tella throws the spacer out through the door and stands silhouetted against the rotunda lights. You touch your arm and it feels wet. Someone helps you to your feet and back onto your stool. The broken glass rattles as it's cleared, and the fresh radio growl is gargled in front of you. The same hand, warm, heavy, falls on your shoulder at once more. He isn't coming back. We don't tolerate that kind of shit here. Tala flops onto the stool beside you. Let's get a look at you. Tala wipes the powdered glass from around the wound, and someone places a bottle of alcohol and a metal tin with tweezers on the bar. She disinfects them and then turns to you. That was the ambitious catch, she smiles, pulling a silver of glass from your forearm. Stupid, but ambitious. You don't feel the pain, only the string of status messages your body delivers concerning thermal damage and exposed structures. You do feel the care though, as Tala's bright eyes search your thick synthetic skin for splinters. Watch her. Tala works with the skill of someone who has had to pick glass splinters from the skin of a stranger before. She hones in on each bright shard, all the time tapping the tweezer tips in little rhythms that only she can follow. Tala smiles to herself. So, you've been on the eye long? Long enough. Hey, you don't need to act tough with me. A splinter clicks into the tin. Not everyone is like that idiot. We all don't all hate you. She glances around. Some of the regulars, maybe they fear you. Maybe they're just curious. I don't know. But I do know that the Overlook is a safe space. I know what it's like to be new in this place. Trust me. She meets your eye. I'm not trying to convince you of anything or to separate you from your chits. I just want you to know that if you need somewhere, you can always come here. I know the rations we've got aren't much and the company is, she leans in, limited. But if you need work, I'll happily put you behind the bar, and if you need shelter, well, we can discuss that. You'll be safe. I usually have Francis on the door, but he's up in the Greenwich with this cycle, haggling for a supplier. Francis tends to be particular about what we serve, even if the clientele isn't. He places her tweezers in the tin with a clink. That's you, sleeper. Here. She slides the glass of Grail to you. This will help. She stops. Her hand still on the glass. Wait, does this help? I mean... Can you get drunk? Nope. She laughed. Just a connoisseur. Tala mock winks. I'll let you get back to it then. She walks back around the bar, gathering the glasses as she does, and before long, is retelling how she threw that spacer out to a new group that just wandered, complete with dramatic actions. She gestures in your direction, and you instinctively look away, back to the worn surface of the bar. You take the sip of Jurel. The earthly fungal tones through your senses, almost blocking out sight and sound, like diving headfirst into a bog. You may not be able to get drunk, but this connection to something grown, something fermented, something old feels good. Good service. I need a call. The huge cylinder onto the mess room table. Akita can't hide excitement. Yeah. You drop the You drop the ship mine core onto the galley table with an emphatic bang. Akita spins around from where she's been poring over some documents on the slate. Holy shit, Sleeper, do you actually land a ship mine? She rushes over and hefts the huge cylinder, turning it back and forth. Well, shit. It might actually work. She smiles wider than you've ever seen. Where do you get it? I built it. Built it? Well, you are full of surprises. Akita bangs on the galley wall. Hear that, Amber? The Sleeper got you a ship mine. The Sleeper got you a ship mine. The sound echoes down the ship's passages. You have to admit, being in a small space with Akita when she's this excited is a little intimidating. Akita puts the ship mine. Give me a second. There we go. Puts the ship mine back on the table. I'll start the process of fitting it as soon as I can. I might need your help with some of it. She heads back towards the counter to grab her slate. This isn't the only good news today either. Looks like my good karma is finally coming in. She throws a slate onto the table and spins it so you can see the screen. Take a look at this. You see a list of names and numbers. Nothing that exciting, along with what looks like a transit timetable. I found them. The thieves? Exactly. Well, the thieves, singular. She points a name on the list, or more specifically, Ashton Kaede. It was his pass that was used to access Amber and slice the ship mine. I thought he might have been killed or robbed. His pass stolen, but it turns out he crossed the Founder's Gap the very next cycle. Founder's Gap? That rift in the station. You can't cross it without the Founder's Ferry. She leans back in the seat. I know some of the crew over at the ferry, old mugs, used to run in an outfit I work with. I saw them in the Overlook, and they mentioned they saw Ashton crossing. I checked the manifest, and there he was. Looks suspicious. He hasn't said the word since the death, and anyone wanting to hide out might head to the Greenway and go to ground. She flexes. He won't get far though. There's no real docks out there, only a couple of jetties in the ways. So what now? Now I fit the ship mine. But that's the first priority. She pauses. But maybe you could help me out. Sure, how? It's like this. I head over there, especially in Amber. He'll spot me a mile off and go underground. He'll find a way to slip the station, or he'll bury himself so deep in the ways no one will ever find him. But you, Ashton doesn't know you. All I need for you is to go there and sniff around. Not at the communes, not the stacks, till I've gone to the edge, the margins, the wild places. That's what Ashton likes. You see him, you locate him, ping me on this. She hands you a comm earpiece. Seeing as this is merc work, I'll be happy to give you merc pay. She shifts in her seat. The thing is, I haven't got much left. So how about I tell the boys who run the ferry to give you a discount? I know it's not much, but once I grab this coward, I pay out 200 cryo, nothing less. What do you say? She meets your eye. Well, I already paid for it, so okay. She gives you a heavy whack on the shoulder. Good, I owe you. She leaves the ship mine up onto her shoulder with worrying ease. I'm going to go get this fitted into Amber's core. You get any info? Any sense of where Ashton is hiding? Let me know. She goes a turn and then stops. And once again, Sleeper, thank you. I appreciate it. Akita stops on into the guts of Amber with the ship mine, leaving you in the galley. You glance around, a sudden nervous energy descending at what is to come. Never thought you'd get work as a mercenary, but then again, it seems the eye is full of surprises. More stabilizer. The trail ahead extends deep into an overgrown section of the greenway. At this far end of the ring, where the long, lazy curve of the greenway becomes the shattered landscape of the waste, things are oddly quiet. Ahead stands a vast farm stack, broken from its axis by rust or force, and lying amongst the overgrown landscape like an ancient temple. It is stained with moss and algae, flows of green running out from its broken tanks like a frozen brackish tide. This is where Ashton is hiding, you are pretty sure. All your intuition points to the shadows beneath this collapsed superstructure. You roll the comm headset Akita gave you in your palm. Call. You slip the headset into your ear and fizzes with static. After a few months you hear Akita. Sleeper. Have you located the target? A doubt enters your mind. Can you be sure he is there? No. Hold. A confused silence at the other end. Maybe it's better that you confirm Ashton is here before I coin Akita. Remove headset. You put the headset back in your pocket. Not yet. You need confirmation. You survey the route ahead. There is a direct route, a line of broken pillars that take you into the center of the structure. Or you could skirt around the pillars, keeping to the cover of the raised spine of the greenway, and work your way around. It will take longer, but it's better concealed. Skirt around. You decide on the long route and head off towards the central spine. It is slow going there, where the overgrowth meets the metal wall, but it is so concealed that you can barely see the glass roof high above. You follow the wall, knowing it will lead you to the edge of the collapsed stack. For the final part of the journey, you have to work your way through the dense undergrowth, pushing aside branches and fronds. It is exhausting, and you stop on a small rise to rest. It has been hours since you began. You desperately hope Ashton hasn't moved on. Just ahead, a soft glow is coming from somewhere within the farm stack. A grow lights you on after all these years. Perhaps you take a little longer to rest and push on. You follow the faint glow of the stack. You find a broken tank and step through the opening, trying to avoid the broken glass that sits amongst the moss and algae. You work your way up the slanted tank. I need water. Carefully, quietly. Somewhere water drips and you hear a bird song. Hanging plants catch the light, coating the place in a pale and sickly green. As you reach the edge of the tank, you hear something. An echoing hiss like a hydraulic piston. You quickly move up to where the tank opens into a central drum and look over the edge. The vast drum is like a cistern, with plants growing on all sides and wet mossy islands at its base. It is beautiful, and for a moment you can't see anything but tones of green. Then you see the sleeper. In a faint circle of light, descending down through the drum, the sleeper lies slumped at an odd angle. They are surrounded by crates, and beside them, one of the mossy islands, there is an object, a cylinder set on the tarp. It is connected to the sleeper's head. You flinch. Are they one of the others? One of the ones that escaped with you? You squint, trying to recognize them. They are twisted, broken. Open, wrong. You look away. Wait. You wait, unsure of what to do, your eyes fixed on the broken sleeper at the center of the drum. On the connection between them and the ship mine. You think of what might be passing through that connection. Thoughts? Memories? Or just data? You hear a sound. A quiet hiss, then soft footsteps. Below you, Akita enters, her sidearm in hand. He must have followed the signal from the headset. Has she been spying on you? You watch her step onto one of the mossy islands, the water around rippling as she does. The gunshot breaks the silence, blanking out the noise. It hits Akita's shoulder piece, the ceramic armor cracking but holding as she braces into the impact. And then she launches herself forward, the now activated armor launching her across the drum. Another shot goes wide before she reaches the cover of the crates beside the sleeper. Shit, you hear the shout from one of the tanks high on the far wall. Akita reaches over and wraps her hand around the thick connection between the ship mine and the sleeper. What is she doing? You better come down here or I'll rip this right off their head, she screams at the wall of tanks. You shiver at the suggestion. Stay silent. There is a long pause. All I can hear is the dripping of water running down the walls of the drum. Then Ashton calls out, I'm coming down, Akita. Don't do anything stupid for God's sake. He appears at the far side of the drum, stepping through the shallow water, rifle raised above his head. Drop the gun, Akita shouts. He throws it down onto the moss. As you lean out to watch, you see him catch your eye, clocking your presence. What are you up to here, Ashton? You sickle, she stands, keeping her sidearm trained on his head. You ripped my ship mine for what? Some freakish experiment? Ashton approaches with shaking hands, his eyes now fixed on the connecting bundle of wires that Akita still has hold of. Steady, Akita, isn't like that. I needed a ship mine. You have to understand. They would have died without it. What are you talking about? I don't give a shit why I ripped my ship mine and crippled my ship. I should put you down right now. She tightens her grip on the connection. Typical of you, Akita. No curiosity. Ashton smiles shakily. That's why I never asked for your help. You only look after yourself. He nods at you. The sleeper up there, they are just bait, right? To draw me out. Akita sucks her breath in. Are you trying to give me more reasons to shoot you? I love them, Akita. Ashton looks at the crumpled sleeper. I love them and they were going to die. I knew you would never understand that. He starts closing the gap between himself and Akita now, slowly, inching forward. Don't do that, Ashton. Akita snarls. Don't do that. Let the wires go, Akita. Let us go. If you don't get out of my way. He inches closer. Please. I can't let you take it, Ashton. Akita hardens a stare. You stole it from me. You left me for dead. She shakes her head. You think I'm going to trust you after all that? I need it, Akita. I need them to survive. Ashton is in reach of the sleeper now, of Akita. I'm going to take them now, Akita. He raises a hand. I'm going to take the ship mine and go. Akita loses her grip on the connection a little. Her hand is shaking now. Stop, Ashton. She lowers the gun a little. Stop. Seeing her drop her guard, he makes his move. A blur of movement, a struggle, a shot, another. You recoil back behind the edge, they ricochet around the inside of the drum, the sound deafening you. When you crawl back to the edge, Ashton is bleeding into the water, the red and the green. Akita is standing at the center of the drum, the server connection in her hand. The water drips endlessly, drip after drip after drip. You force yourself to look at the broken sleeper. There is no sign of life, of humanity. They are just another broken object among other broken objects, while all around, living things grow and thrive. Akita finally looks back up at you, tears in her eyes. She begins to say something that might be sorry, but you are already gone. Where is she? And I can do a bar shift. Go. Oh, okay. We'll do more bar shifts, I guess. Get that storyline going. Maybe I'll just play a bit more and then we'll call it a stream. And currently this I still have a good bit more of this game to go. The grill slides from the bottle into the lumpy recycled glass, a pale grassy yellow under the overlook's warm lights. The spacer nods and takes the drink, bringing up to their face in both hands like an offering bowl. This is the good stuff. The stuff Tala says is aged in wooden casks stored in some closed off part of the old station, among corroded wires and softly looping systems. Though sometimes it is hard to tell if Tala is joking. And the way you like pouring this stuff, it gets on your fingers, and if you rub them together you can smell the mossy drink, cut through with any seed, mushrooms, wood as the alcohol evaporates. You like those who order it too. The aged grill is kept beneath the bar, open to order only by those who know it's there, like the quiet spacers sitting at the bar right now. Busy myself. You pull a rag from your overalls and wipe down the bar. The grill smells lifting then disappearing into the stale station air. The overlook is quiet this cycle. The salvagers busy offloading, the regulars likely at the odd exchange or queuing for work at the Haven shipyards. You're in the right mood for a quiet shift. Some cycles drag long, the overlook empty and claustrophobic. But this one has caught you just right, and in this moment some kind of calm has descended as you tinker away at the bar, lining up the bottles as your thoughts expand to fill the space. Suddenly you hear a heavy clunking at the door. It creaks open and a huge cylindrical metal tank tumbles through, slamming to the floor. Shit! Breezes in from behind, a wall of hair, bright eyes. Shit. Tala? Sleeper! She ducks behind the bar and comes over. Can you help me with this? You look at the huge metal tank suspiciously. I'm coming. You come around the bar and get to one side of the tank. Okay, says Tala. On my count. 1, 2, 3. You both heave the tank up to standing. Somehow you hold it in place, struggling to keep it steady. Where's this going? In the back, comes a voice from behind the tank. Somehow you manage to lug the huge tank into the back room, where you place it in one corner, dropping the rest of the contents in the cramped space. As you do, you hear a crunch. As you stand back and look at the expired rations oozing out from under the tank. Oh shit, Tala looks at you apologetically. I know you like those. That's okay. You push the crushed rations to one side, and that's the end of that. Tala looks exhausted and rubs her shoulders. Francis, I swear to. Francis? Francis, I mentioned him already. My guy on the door. He deals with suppliers. Tall. She sighs. He was supposed to be back from at least up in the Greenway by now, but with our Joel. She leans against the tank. It seems like he got lost again, or joined the Haifa commune. We need that Joel. There are 4 other bars here, and the spaces sure as hell don't come to the overlook for the ambiance. She looks through the open door to check if anyone can hear her. She knocks on the hollow tank. So I'm taking matters in my own hand. She smiles. Welcome, sleeper, to the Overlook Distillery. You look around the dang back room. Need some work. She picks at some paint flicking from the metal walls. Well, I might need some help though. She shrugs. Could you be up for it? You up for it? She knocks on the tank again. Could be fun. Is this part of my work? Tala looks down. I'm not forcing you, sleeper. You decide. She puts her hand on the hip. Head back to the bar and think about it, okay? I'll be back here for a while. Oh wait, sleeper. I have an idea. Tala is grinning now, and it's making you nervous. To make up for the rations, how about we put a kitchen in here too? A kitchen? I've always wanted to serve food. I've always wanted to serve food, she turns back to the tank. This is going to be great, she says to herself. You look at the dental tank and the bare room. At least she has vision. Tala nudges you out of the back room and closes the door. As you go back to the bar, you hear the banging and thumping begin. The spacer finish up their drink and nods in your direction as they leave. You can't quite tell if it's a gesture of sympathy or good luck. So much for a quiet shift. Sure. Yeah, this is going to take a while. Let's start with Akita. I mean, we might just go through this cycle and then call it a stream. You spot Akita on the track to the farm stack. She has a box on her shoulder and is walking her way down the slope. She sees you as she approaches. Akita, neither of you speak for a moment. She looks tired, pale. Her hair is tangled and clumps of dirt cling to her armor. You both eye each other. Stay silent. Sleeper. She takes a deep breath. I'm sorry for what happened. Truly I am. She looks down. I'm sorry you ended up in the middle of this, when all you have shown me is kindness. She rubs her face. I'm sorry. Stay silent. For that sleeper that. She stares at the floor. I'm sorry. She looks up and away, not meeting your eye. Why this unforgivable? She looks at you. I understand. Akita shifts the weight off the box on her shoulder. I've been preparing for... She grimaces. Look, she sighs. Can you come with me? It's easier if... If what? You see it. She finishes. It's just down the way. Akita leads on down the dirt path between the pillars. There is a wind passing through the greenway, a quirk of the air current the biosphere maintains, and it ruffles the leaves softly. The sound makes the silence more obvious, more complete. You try not to think of the last time you were here. You've been trying not to think of it for the past few cycles. The image of the sleeper, sprawled, twisted open, connected to the ship mind, has been hard to forget. You realize that Akita is leading you back there, back into the drum at the center of the stack. You pause, trembling a little. At the threshold, she turns. What are you doing? She looks at you with empty eyes. What needs to be done? You stand on the threshold and look up at the tanks, green and wet, some glowing with flickering glow lamps. You look down at Akita, suddenly so small under the hulking ruin, the smallest she has ever looked. She places the box down. Follow her in. You follow Akita into the stack through a low tank, entering the drum at ground level. It is just as beautiful as you remember, but it barely touches you. Instead, you check the apertures of the tanks for a glint of a weapon or a shadow among the moss. Akita stops and you look down. The mossy island at the center of the tank is clear now, the equipment cleared away. In its place is a mound of dirt, loosely covered with moss. Ashton's rifle stands straight, half buried in the dirt at the grave's head. I buried them together, Akita says without turning. You both stand there in silence for a little while. You think of the questions you could ask about Ashton, about Sleeper. What Sleeper did? She takes a moment to respond, and for a moment you think she won, but then the words come gushing out. Their body was long dead, that much was obvious. After you left, I checked them, but there was nothing. No signal, no function. The ship mine was the same. Dead. I don't know if Ashton's plan would have worked. He seemed desperate. That doesn't mean it wasn't. She pauses, unsure how to continue. I don't think he was lying, but you have to understand. I have crew members double-cross me, undercut me, rat me out. That's the business. He wasn't a good person. None of us in this job are, and this is how we die, alone. I'm sorry they had to die too. She stops, not sure of what to add. It seems like she's reaching for something, but she can't quite get there. You feel that gap between you, and as you do it widens. The water drips, the moss trembles. You both stand in silence for a little longer. You both feel it, like creeping back in, the silence ending. Akita shifts her weight, and then starts to walk out. You follow her, suddenly eager to be back out in the open space of the greenway, to be away from this place forever. You stand outside and breathe the fresh air. You stare at the green leaves and the stars wheeling above them. That's it, says Akita from somewhere behind you. You try to think of something, but you can't. Akita puts a hand on your shoulder. You turn back to her. At least take this. She forces a handful of cryo shits into your hands. It's what I owe. She looks at you desperately. You look down at the metal bars. Ugly little things, you think. Take it. You take the chits and turn without saying a word. You continue up the track and she does not follow. As you walk up the rise, the wind picks up and the leaves shudder. You walk faster, trying to outpace your anger. Your chits are heavy in your pockets, and you hate them for reminding you of how little life is worth. The bad end. Alright, let's go with that one. Might be good to go with interface next, I suppose. But, well, that was a tragic end. And then I think we'll get more spores. Go. And then we rest. Alright, that'll be it for this stream. So next week, I guess it's not the end. Maybe another stream just to do all these other plots. These other plots that I've never really could touch until we do the final part. So yeah. So I guess probably another 2 more streams, I would say. So next stream we'll probably do the last bits, maybe, and then after that we'll finish it up. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the plan. But anyway, thank you all for tuning into the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm definitely enjoying this. It's definitely very intriguing. now definitely the gameplay is a lot less open, I feel like, just because of the stuff is very linear now, or at least it is for me now, because it's easy for me to just do everything at once. But yeah, so yeah, I think I already said. So next week we'll try to finish up all these other loose plot threads, and then the next stream after will probably be the last DLC part, and then we can finish this game up. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for tuning into the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you people in the comments, VOD viewers, also enjoy it. And yeah, yeah, interesting to see where this goes. How things will end up at the end. But I guess we'll find out soon enough. But until then, all of you stay safe, wash your hands, all that fun stuff, and I will see you then. Alright, goodbye.